everyone. I'm Rich Nation.
And I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi, and this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, June 3rd. On today's show, audiologist Jack Adams will tell Heather Battey why we might need to consider hearing aids. And we'll head over to the Woodlands Commons to check out the final Jazz and Stuff concert for the season.
But first, we want to remind you that tonight is open table seating at the singles table at the Crystal. No reservations are necessary, but make sure to arrive between 5 and 5:30 p.m. to acquire your seat for an enjoyable social time over dinner. The singles table will be open at the Crystal every Monday and Wednesday evening. Tomorrow, you can come and learn how the Legacy Foundation assists residents with financial, wealth, estate, and philanthropic planning services. You'll be able to meet the staff who will work alongside your professional advisors to provide seamless legacy planning services. To sign up for the seminar, be sure to call 466-8484. The seminar will be held Thursday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands.
Also tomorrow night is the first workshop called Singing Through the Summer. All singers are invited to exercise your voice and sharpen your reading skills by attending the summer choral workshops held by Randy Woods, Minister of Worship and Music of the Village Church. 6 summer choral workshops will be held in the choir room of the Village Church beginning this Thursday. All singers are encouraged to attend, whether you're a soloist, community choir singer, or church choir member. To register for more information, contact Katelyn Van Scoy at 454-2057.
How do you know when it might be time to consider hearing aids? Actually, there's no better time than the present to seek a hearing evaluation and find out. Often taking that step towards improved hearing can be a huge step for many. Heather Battey visits with audiologist Jack Adams to talk about an upcoming presentation that will give you self-help tools to make the question of when to consider hearing aids much clearer to see or hear.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey with Resort Services, and today I'm here with Jack Adams, and we are going to talk about a very special gift, and that's your hearing. Have you ever wondered if it was time for you to get a hearing aid? Well, we have a perfect program for you that is all about that. Hi, Jack. You're going to do a program, How Do I Know If I Need a Hearing Aid?
Yes, because it seems to be a real big issue for people deciding when to take a step to try to help themselves hear better. And there are a number of studies that have shown that it's usually 7 years from the time that somebody first notices a problem to the time they actually do something about it.
Wow.
And that 7 years is a lot of lost time. And if we could encourage people to seek at least an evaluation prior to a 7-year delay, it would very well may make their lives a lot nicer. There are many, many different things that occur to us on a daily basis that can give clues as to whether or not we might be losing our hearing. And a lot of times as the person with the hearing loss, you don't recognize those because they become a habit. I tell patients all the time that hearing loss is like looking at ourselves in the mirror. You don't look any different today than you did yesterday. But if you get out the photographs, you realize that there have been some differences.
Yes.
And when I see people after that 7-year delay oftentimes, and they've got a 40% hearing loss, and they say, oh, I'm doing just fine. You know, I don't notice any change in my hearing. Well, they very well may not have noticed any change, but they start to notice a change in their performance. They start to notice how well they can attend, how well they listen, how well they hear in crowds. They start to notice differences. And when you first put hearing aids on somebody, and they certainly start to hear all of those sounds that they've lost over the last 7 to 10 years, it's like, whoa, you know, who turned on the lights? Because all of a sudden, a lot of those lost sounds become much more evident to them, and they realize how much they've been missing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you just don't realize how much you've been missing until you have a chance to try it. So this presentation is primarily about a lot of self-help tools that people can use, just questionnaires, both for husbands and spouses. I would certainly encourage anybody that's living with someone that they think they have a hearing loss and or someone who's on the fence as to wanting to perhaps investigate whether or not they think they're ready or not. Because it's one thing for someone to come in and me just to tell them you need a hearing aid.
Yeah.
Well, unless they're convinced and have already crossed that threshold themselves, they may not truly be ready. So we like to try to encourage people to come to us when they say, hey, I know I need help and I want help,
Right.
as opposed to trying to convince them that it's time for them to do something.
Well, Jack, it sounds like a great program. And if you are interested in how do I know if I need a hearing aid, you can sign up at either service desk. The program will be Thursday, June 4th at 10:15 in the Social Center. So we hope to see you there. Thank you.
On the second floor of the Woodlands Commons on most Wednesday afternoons, the delightful music of horns, woodwinds, drums, piano, just about anything musical really, can be heard as several of our talented residents perform to a delighted audience. Jazz and Stuff, as they are called, consists of several snowbird residents who fly north for the winter. Oops, summer. So since the band participation diminishes, they take a break until the end of August. Last week, we captured their final concert for the season, and Dan Philgreen got the opportunity to chat with them.
Hi, it is Wednesday afternoon, and we are up in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. And since it's Wednesday afternoon, that means it's time for Jazz and Stuff, which has been going on in this room for 12 years, I guess it's been. And I have with me two of the founding members of Jazz and Stuff, Bill Johns and Pat Specht. And tell us a little bit about this whole group in the early days and where
Well,
this came from.
I'll let Bill tell you.
Jazz and Stuff was started in 2003 by Dr. Bob McCullum, who lived in Lakewood. He was an avid harmonica player, and he loved to play the blues. And so he put out the word around Shell Point that he would like anybody interested to come over and join him in an impromptu music session, or a jam session as they call it. You know, the word jam is slang to musicians for improvise. So there were, what, 4 or 5 of us, Pat, I guess, were over here in the Grand Cypress Room. Nobody was here, and for an hour, we met at 2:30, and for an hour we just sat around and played in an impromptu way. And we continued to meet after that. Well, over time, more musicians started to come in. They heard about what we were doing, and they would join up. Residents from the Commons down here, they would go by the room and hear something going on, so they'd stick their head in and see what it was, and they'd come in and sit around and watch what we were doing. So that was the beginning. And you fast forward to today, which is, what, 12 years later. Right now we have 17 musicians on our roster. We will have an audience every Wednesday from 50 to 80 people. And we still play for an hour.
You know, it keeps people going too, because I've had people come up and tell me, you know, Pat, I felt really kind of down before I came, and after listening to all those songs that I knew when I was younger, I just feel so much better when I walk out the door. And that kind of makes it for me.
Yeah.
And I feel better after I get done playing all that stuff.
Music does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know what? This is the last time Jazz and Stuff is meeting for this season, but come fall, the gang's going to be back here. The music is going to start up again, and it's something that if you haven't come on Wednesday afternoon, you really need to check it out. It's a lot of fun, and you really enjoy it. So check out Jazz and Stuff. So Carol DeLucia here has been coming just about every Wednesday for 12 years. Carol, why do you keep coming back?
Because it's wonderful. It's the highlight of my week.
Well, how about that?
Oh, it's marvelous. Marvelous.
Do they play your favorite songs?
Yes.
There we go. And you got your sheet there.
And that gentleman who plays the recorder is a very special friend of mine. So he always tells me ahead of time what he's going
Which
to play.
songs he's going to play. All right. So
now, the only bad part is I love to dance.
Uh-huh.
And Bill won't let me get up and dance.
Oh, man. Chuck Durrell here is the Shell Point recorder specialist, are you not?
That is correct.
This man is the champion of the recorder for Shell Point musicians. So tell us about playing your recorder and the jazz and stuff. You know, you always find cool solo parts for your recorder.
Yes, usually have one or two solos that I play, and I started playing the recorder about 10 years ago, shortly after I moved here. Started off in the classical group, then I found out about the jazz group, so I joined them, and I was with them right from day one.
There we go.
It's anybody who wants to play.
So whatever you play, you know, you might break out that kazoo, folks, because there's a place for you at Jazz and Stuff.
That's right.
So you play only when someone needs you to fill in, or
Right.
you most of the time?
No, when either Pat or Tom is out, I usually fill in.
Okay. So there's even room for part-timers.
There are. The pay's not as good, though.
All right. The pay's not as good? Paul Goodwin is here. You've got your clarinet, Paul.
Right.
So tell me about how long have you been playing the clarinet?
Well, I used to play in high school and college. And
Okay, wait a minute. Let me guess. You didn't play for a long time before you
Right.
came to Shell Point.
Well, I had a clarinet, but I rarely played it.
Okay.
And when I retired, my wife bought me a new one, but I still didn't play it
Yeah.
till I came here and I found this group, and I enjoyed playing with them.
Well, that's great.
And I'm 88, but I'm still active and everything.
Blowing and going, huh?
Yep.
All right. This is Kaz Obi, our trumpet player. Now, Kaz is very high-tech here. I want you to see his rig here. He's got his music on his iPad, folks. This is just like downtown. So, you know, he's not going to miss a beat. Not one beat.
It can be a lot of fun.
It is. It's great.
And the nice thing about the iPad is that you can, write in your own little things.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
But this jazz and stuff is so great because, where else can you get a whole bunch of people together who really often want to do better, but you got such a magnificent audience. They're just superb. I mean, I play for them.
Sure,
And
that's great.
I want to make sure that, you do a good job. Of course, all of us want to do a good job. But when you get those smiles, when you get the feet tapping, when you get the hands clapping, and when you get the humming, you know you're doing something
Yeah,
right.
that makes it fun, doesn't
I'll
it?
tell you,
All right.
it's just great.
Now, Bob and Ginger Dorenberg are over here, and they're here to enjoy the music. So how long have you folks been coming to jazz and
Same
stuff?
amount of time.
12 years? See, these are some...
Same as Carol, I guess.
Man.
And
So-
we always sit together.
Always sit together. You got your reserved seating
Reserved
here.
seats there.
Okay, so make sure you don't take these seats when you come, folks. Before you came to Shell Point, how much were you playing your trumpet?
Zero.
Pretty much zero, huh?
Right. I played
So-
it last time in college. And somebody said to my wife, Phyllis, gee, does either one of you play an instrument? She said, well, Jerry used to.
Yeah.
And then so we went to a pawn shop.
Yeah. Got yourself
Here
an
we
instrument.
are.
Fantastic.
So here we are.
So, is this as much fun now as it was in college?
Actually, it's more fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get paid for it.
You paid? Wow. Like with cookies, I see they got in the back?
That's it.
All right.
We played all year, and we have at least 2 cookies to show for.
2 cookies. So
Yeah.
you think if somebody maybe used to play an instrument and hasn't for a long time, this is a good excuse to pick it up again.
Yeah, the audition takes about 2 nanoseconds. So yeah,
If you,
anybody that played.
if you have a pulse,
If you got a pulse and you got a horn, you're in.
you're in. There you go, folks. How can you go wrong?
if you don't have a horn, we'll find one for you.
Don, tell us what's your favorite thing about jazz and stuff.
Well, once in a while after we have refreshments, and that is really good. And I think today is one of those days.
One of these days. It's a
Yes,
banner day.
yes. Jack and I enjoy playing duets, and Jerry Ingalls and I play duets, and so we have a lot of fun here.
Great.
Some real good musicians.
So I see you got some new gear on your kit here, Fritz. Tell us about
I
your
have some new gear. These are 3 different drums with different tones.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to play them today. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but
Always something new.
okay. Yeah, I just
right.
bought these a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to give them a try.
Very cool.
And now it's time for all the latest happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Katelyn Van Scoy and I'm here with Heather Battey, and we're going to let you know all of Wednesday's activities. At 7:45 we have men's Bible study in the Osprey Room. At 8 o'clock we have men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. Lilly and Company Jewelers will be here for their weekly jewelry service at 8:45, and that's in the Resident Activity Center. They have a table set up. Resident Council meeting will be in the Social Center at 8:45. And Jurassic Travel will be here at 9 a.m. in the Egret Room to help you with all your personal traveling needs. Watercolor Group with Phil Hilton will meet at 9 o'clock in the Art Studio. That's down in the Island Tunnel. The Card Making and Scrapbooking Group will be in the Tarpon Room at 9:15. And at 10 o'clock, the Ladies' Bible Study will be in the Osprey Room. Also at 10 o'clock, we have men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. And the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands at 10:15. Our last morning activity is at 11:30 with the Health Connections class called Bar Basics. That'll be in the Health Club, and that's currently full. Well, here's Heather to tell you all about our afternoon activities.
Thank you, Katelyn. So today, for this afternoon, we have chess in the Library Lounge at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:45, we have a Health Connection program, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1, and that's at the Island Health Club, and that is currently full. And Bible study will take place at the Community Room, King's Crown, at 3 o'clock. Also at 3 o'clock, we have Health Connections, which is Pilates Stretch, and that's at the Island Health Club. Also at 3 o'clock, we have our memory care group in the Conference Room Behavioral Health on the island. Sign up is required for that program. At 4 o'clock, we have pickleball at the pickleball courts, and 4:30 is indoor bocce at the Island Health Club. 5 o'clock, we do have our singles table at the Crystal Dining Room. Church choir rehearsal will take place at the Village Church, and that's in the choir room at 5:45. And our last activity for the day is prayer and praise at the Village Church at 7:15. Well, that's it for today. Thank you, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 3 o'clock, we have Word Processing Prep School in the Computer Center of the Woodlands. Sign up is required. And tomorrow, if you have signed up for Academy on the Go #2, you are going to an overnight in the Keys.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is a pork chop in mushrooms with au gratin potatoes and beets. The soup of the day is Duchess. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is an Italian sausage with peppers and onions on a sub roll with fresh fruit for $7.75. The dinner special is grilled shrimp for $8.75. Dinner specials on the Palm Grill are mussels for $14.95 or a hanger steak for $17.95. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. There's a comment in the Old Testament of the Bible that caught my attention. He passed away to no one's regret. In other words, no one was sorry when he died, as a modern translation puts it. I quote 2 Chronicles 21:20, if you care to check out the story. But think about that. How would you like it on your tombstone? He passed away to no one's regret. When wicked King Jehoram died, all Judah heaved a sigh of relief, and it's not hard to understand why. His first act as king was to kill off all 6 of his younger brothers and some of Israel's nobles. Then he introduced to Jerusalem obscene practices associated with pagan religion, the religion of Tyre in Phoenicia. This man was a real bad egg if ever there was one. As a result, God directed Elijah the prophet to send the murderous monarch a letter warning of impending judgment, a prophecy which was soon fulfilled. Shortly thereafter, Judah was attacked, the palace was devastated, and most of the king's family taken hostage, and the king himself was inflicted with an incurable illness. After 2 years of suffering, the Bible tells us, his bowels came out because of the disease, and he died in great pain, to no one's regret. Good riddance, thought his subject. How sad to think of a man so wicked that no one regrets his death. Though even within our lifetime, we can think of more than one foreign leader who merits this epitaph. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him, said Mark Antony of Julius Caesar. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. But while the flagrantly wicked may be the only ones who die to no one's regret, most of us strive to do something significant with our lives. We want to leave a legacy. John Fletcher, the playwright, put it this way: "'Tis not to die we fear, but to die poorly, to fall forgotten in a multitude." Some time ago, Dr. Tony Campolo, the Christian sociologist, reported on a survey given to men and women over 90 years of age. They were asked what they would do differently if they could live life over again. The overwhelming consensus was that they would do more that would live on after they died. They didn't want to die poorly, to fall forgotten in a multitude. They wanted to leave a legacy. And I'm talking example here, not money. Nobody living in our community is a stranger to memorial services. Most I have attended or even conducted have sent me home with a lot to think about regarding the legacy left by the deceased. It may have been their devotion to God, to family, to friends, to the church, to the poor and needy. It could have been their example, their teaching, their wisdom, their friendship, their help. Perhaps it was their generosity, or their faithfulness, their encouragement, their hospitality, their joy of living. The only thing that walks back from the tomb with the mourners and refuses to be buried is the character of a man, said the 19th century pastor J.R. Miller. We regret the passing of our loved ones. Sometimes when one person is absent, the whole world seems depopulated, wrote the French poet Lamartine. But they have left a legacy, an example to be emulated. The author of the letter to the Hebrews in the Bible makes a couple of references to those who died and left us a legacy, both of them having to do with faith. One reference concerns the son of Adam and Eve. Although Abel is long dead, he still speaks to us by his example of faith. Hebrews 11:4. The other verse is more general. Remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Hebrews 13, verse 7. Remember, consider, imitate. What will be my legacy? What will be yours? When the day comes, I wonder who will regret my passing away and why. I don't flatter myself with the prospect of great crowds of mourners at my funeral, but I do want to accomplish things that will outlive my body. And I hope what I have said, my way of life, and my faith will be a blessing to somebody, that they will have cause to remember, consider, and imitate. After all, we all want to leave a legacy, don't you agree? And consider this, the only thing you take with you when you go is what you leave behind. And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to watch again tomorrow when Assisted Living Activities Director Inga Bredal shares some photos with us from a painting class recently held at the King's Crown. And Project Development Director Bob Southern will show us what happened to the giant wooden doors that were recently removed from the village church, as well as getting an update on plans out at the golf course. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, June 3rd. I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation. On behalf of all of us here at Shell Point TV, we'd like to thank you for watching and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And we'll see you back again tomorrow.